Good. So it has started recording. So we will start lecture 2. So I hope lecture 1 went reasonably well for all of you. And by the way, I forgot to tell you that if you have suggestions on, some suggestions I should be able to incorporate, whether, the pace is too fast, too slow. Of course, various students may have various opinions, but I will consider your suggestions. So feel free to tell me whatever you want to tell me. Okay, so maybe we should start the proper lecture. So let me start sharing the screen, my slides. Okay. So here is lecture 2. One of you could confirm that you can see this.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Excellent. Okay. So this is lecture 2. And as I told you, I will have the keywords coming. So yesterday we had the keywords order and linear, non-linear. And today the keywords are separable and homogeneous. Okay, we will see what it means. These are all simple things. Maybe even what we are going to do today also you have already seen in your plus 2. It's possible. Okay, I don't know quite what the plus 2 syllabus is. Anyway, let's start slowly. So we are going to do first order ODEs and some of the methods to solve these type of differential equations. So let's start by recalling what we did yesterday. So basically we defined what an ordinary differential equation is, and then we defined the order of an ODE. So very quickly, what is the order? A differential equation is an equation consisting of x and y is a function of x and possibly many derivatives of y. And you look at the highest derivative of y which is there in the equation, that is called the order. And then we also discussed in many examples whether the ODE is linear or non-linear. So linear meaning it is linear in, if you treat y, y1, y2, etc. as variables, it's linear in all of those. And we said that a linear differential equation can be expressed in a very nice form as some coefficient functions of x alone times y prime, y double prime, etc. equal to a function of x alone. Okay, this was linear. Anything else is non-linear. So linear things will not have terms like y square or y times y1 or y1 square. These kind of terms will make it non-linear. Okay. Anyway, we saw many examples. And in particular, a linear ODE of order n is of this form. This is what I said verbally. A function of x, non-zero function of x, n times nth derivative, another function of x, this could be even 0, n minus first derivative plus etc. equal to a function of x. With these functions, there's no linearity. Bx can be a complicated function, anx can be a complicated function. The function of x, there's no linearity. Linearity is about y prime, etc. Okay, where these are all arbitrary functions of x and a naught x is non-zero. So we saw certain naturally occurring ODAs. In fact, you helped me. I had basically no idea. I had copy pasted some of these physical examples, and all of you explained to me how these differential equations come in. And some of them were non-linear. In fact, I think among the 5 or 6 examples that we discussed, 2 were non-linear. Let's recall, this was non-linear. This was about the drag force, drag coefficient and all those things, air resistance. And this was non-linear because of the v square term here. This term was okay, but this term is non-linear. And then we had the simple pendulum. And some of you told me of various derivations. This was the equation. This is non-linear because in theta, this is not linear, sine theta. And some of you also told me for small theta, you can approximate sine theta by theta, and you can write down this differential equation. Now this is linear because theta and d square theta by dt square, this is linear and this is ordered too. Okay, so I hope yesterday's class is completely clear now with this recalling. So this is linear. Okay, let's start now. So let's see, we have told yesterday itself that even a first order equation, the simplest, right? First order, It may not be solvable. They may not be a nice solution, but still, I mean, you may not be able to solve it. Maybe, under some conditions on F, solutions are guaranteed, but you may not be able to do it. Even then, you would like to visualize how solutions may be, and there is a nice way. There's a very easy way. So let's start there. Suppose you have a first order ODE of this form, right? You can write it in this form, dy by dx equal to a function of x and y. Okay. Suppose this f of xy is defined in a, so this is a function of two variable. So it is defined as some subset of R2, possibly the whole R2. So a domain contained in R2 because two variables. Okay. This is a Euclidean plane. And suppose you have a solution y equal to phi of x. Okay. Suppose this is a solution curve. What is the meaning of this? Y equal to phi of x is a solution, meaning phi prime x, dy by dx is phi prime x. This equals f of x comma phi x. When you plug it in, it will be satisfied. That's the meaning of a solution. And suppose you have this curve. So this will be a differentiable function and you will have a nice smooth curve. Suppose it exists and you take a point on the curve. Let's say x naught, y naught. Can you tell me what will be the slope of the tangent at that point x naught, y naught? Assume you have the solution y equal to phi of x. Can one of you tell me what will be the slope at that point? You pick a point x naught, y naught.
F of x not y.
Correct, because the slope is given by the derivative and derivative is this is what is given to you. So without doing any work, you know that the slope at x naught, y naught is dy by dx at x naught, y naught, which is nothing but f of x naught, y naught. Okay, so that's good. So though you don't know what the solution is, see, this is very nice. You don't know what the solution is. You are assuming there is a solution. But if there is a solution, then you know the slope at every point. But if you know the slope at every point, then you have a feel, how the curve will look like. So you can plot that. Okay. And along the curves f of xy equal to constant, therefore the slopes are constant, right? Because the slope is given by f of xy at the point xy. So if you take a constant, let us say c is a constant, then at f of xy equal to c, along these curves, the slopes of the solution curve are constant. And these curves are called isoclines. Okay. All these things are not very important for us later because we are going to do more and more theory, but these are very basic things. It's good for you to know. So isocline. So, you have these words isothermal, iso means same, no? So isocline, I think cline comes from slope, maybe Greek or Latin or whatever, Greek, I think. So isocline meaning same slope. So f of xy equal to c, if you draw these curves, on these curves, the solution curve has the same slope. Okay, isoclines. At each point AB, you can also draw a vector field. You can draw a vector with slope f of AB. So you take a point in your domain. At that point, you draw the vector starting, right? A vector meaning there is a starting point, there is an ending point. You draw a vector starting at AB with slope f of AB. Okay, so that does not fix the vector uniquely. Now I'm going to fix it. In fact, you draw the vector field h from D to R2 given by h of AB equal to 1 comma f of AB, right? Anything comma that times f of AB will have slope f of AB, and now fix the length also. So length is also fixed. So if you draw this vector field is called the direction field. Because this is given to you. So whatever I am saying here is very, very easy. Isoclines is easy because f of xy is given to you. And you just draw the vector field 1 comma f of AB. So from this line that the slope is actually f of x naught, y naught at the point x naught, y naught. At the point AB, if you draw this vector field, if you draw this full picture at various points a comma b, if you draw this vector field, what will you get? You have approximately got what the curve looks like, right? A vector field pictures you must have seen, no, in 10, in 111, right? You must have plotted a lot of vector fields, and by plotting this vector field, right, vector fields will look like, a lot of straight lines of various directions and various lengths. All those put together, you will have, if you look at it from a distance, right, plot your vector field, keep it far away and look at it, you will see emergence of a shape there, no? Can one of you tell me whatever I'm saying is okay? right? We will see pictures anyway. So once there is a vector field, you can see how the curve looks like. So a drawing of the vector field at a large number of points. Am I speaking too fast?
No, sir.
No,
It's okay?
sir, it's okay.
It's okay, fine. So a drawing of the vector field at a large number of points gives us approximate solution curves. If many of you have understood this slide, suppose there are students, right? Whenever I ask questions, those who understand may answer, and there could be others who did not understand. It doesn't matter. We are going to do one simple example in the next slide, which will make it completely clear. Okay, what are isoclines, what are direction fields? Yeah,
Why this 1 comma f of AB?
because
Why have we taken 1?
yeah, because at the point AB, what I know is I can assign a vector with slope f of AB. But slope is like y difference by x difference, right? So it could have been 2 FAB also. It could have been 3 comma 3 FAB also. So I wanted to fix so that you can draw nicely. So it is just a normalization. You just put the x coordinate 1 so that there's no multiple. It is just f of AB as a y coordinate so that you get a vector of, right? What is a vector? So if you are drawing this with initial point as the origin, the slope is exactly f of AB. Now you shift that vector. That's how you drew vector fields in 111. So at the origin, with starting at the origin, if you draw this vector and if you translate it so that the origin becomes a comma b, that's how you draw vector fields. Let's do an example. Okay. So
Sir?
yeah.
Sir, in the previous one, we took f of x comma y equal to constant, then
Yeah.
slope is constant, right?
Yes.
Already we know that the solution is phi of x, sir.
Yes.
So we should take the intersection of phi of x and f of x comma y equal to 0, right?
So if you take the intersection, that will be just a point.
Yes, sir.
And at that point, so what this is telling you is good question. What this is telling you is at that point, the slope at that point. So if you give me an isocline and if you take the solution curve and at the intersection, what will be the slope? Suppose I give you isocline equal to 1000. What will be the slope of the solution curve at that intersection point? It will be 1000. That's what isocline is telling you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's do an example, which it's always good to do examples so that the theory is clear. I have taken one of the simplest equations, f of xy equal to xy, so that you know what the answers are without doing it. Okay, and you also, what are the isoclines?
Constant slope curves.
xy equal to constant. Xy equal to constant, what are those curves called?
Rectangular hyperbole.
Hyperbola
Hyperbola.
or
Hyperbole.
the dy
Or a pair of straight lines.
or a pair of straight lines. Xy equal to 0 will be pair of straight lines, actually the axis, right? X-axis and y-axis.
Yeah.
So no, yeah, correct. So the isoclines are the hyperbolas for k not equal to 0 and the coordinate axis. Agree? So isoclines you know. And what will be the solution? Let's actually solve this. Can you solve this and tell me what the answer is? So this is dy by dx equal to x by y. So dy by y equal to x dx. So log y equal to x square by 2. So y is e power x square by 2 times a constant. So you can guess how the curves look like. These are e power x square by 2 times a constant. Okay, but suppose we don't know how to solve it. Okay, we haven't yet started solving. No. So assume that we don't know how to solve it. Though we solved it, assume that we don't know how to solve it, because there may be, f of xy where it is difficult for us to solve. So the geometric meaning, geometric visualization, I want to explain with this simple example. Assume you don't know how to solve it. You don't know that the answer is e power x square by 2. Then what you do is plot the direction fields. So what will be the direction fields? H of xy equal to 1 comma
H of xy.
xy.
1 comma
xy. So you can plot that, no? If I was on the board, I would have plotted maybe 1 or 2 lines, but you know how to plot it. So take a point. Suppose you take the point 2 comma 3. What will you plot at 2 comma 3? At 2 comma 3 with origin as 2 comma 3, you're going to draw a vector. How will that vector look like? That vector will have slope 2 into 3, 6. So if from origin to 1 comma 6, you draw the vector and then you translate that vector so that the origin is 2 comma 3. That will be the vector at 2 comma 3. This is how you draw vector fields. So like this, you draw at possibly many points so that you will have the picture. So solution you have already told me, let's forget it. Now this I have copy pasted from Wikipedia. And so can you see the hyperbolas here? What is the color of the hyperbolas here? Someone quickly tell me.
Blue.
Blue
No.
hyperbola. So what are hyperbolas here? Isoclines. XY equal to constant. So for various constants, you get these various blue lines. Can you see y equal to c times e power x square by 2 plotted here? What are those colors? What is
Red.
the color?
Red.
Red is the plotting of the actual solutions. If you knew the solution, this is the plotting. Suppose you don't know, you don't see these red curves now because we don't know how to solve. Okay. But what we do know is the black lines that you see. This is the vector field. So what is this vector field? At this point, can you see my cursor moving?
Yes.
Okay. So at this vector, how did I plot
Yes,
this?
sir.
At this point, what you are doing is you are plotting 1 comma. If this point is a comma b, you are plotting 1 comma ab. The vector 1 comma ab will be plotted here. It will look like this, and that I translate so that it becomes here. So like that, you can plot the vector field. Now, do you see? It's very nice. We know theoretically it's true, but still to see it looks very beautiful. Suppose those red curves are not there. Even then, can you visualize those red curves from the black lines?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So this is the beauty. Okay, this is the beauty. So without solving the differential equation, right, y prime equal to f of xy, you may not be able to solve it because f of xy may be complicated. Here it was xy, so you could easily solve it. Without pen and paper, we solved it. Okay, but that may not be the case in general. But even then, the black lines you can draw, no? Yes. So you can visualize how the solutions will be even if you can't solve. Okay, so this is very beautiful. And this is what you told me. Isoclines are in blue, direction fields are in black, and the solution curves are in red. Okay, good.
Sir,
Yeah.
how are we visualizing the red ones? I mean, the solution curve using these black lines.
Yeah. Because this is in the picture, it is clear, no? Because the black lines, suppose you draw more and more black lines, all those black lines seem to be, are you asking about this example or are you asking about the theory?
I mean, the theory only. How do you link with the black lines with solution at India?
Yes. Because of this line here. Because of this line here. Suppose y equal to phi x is the solution, which you don't know how to solve. Okay. Then what you know is if you take any point x0, y0, at that point, the slope of the tangent of the solution curve is f of x0, y0. Okay, so when you are plotting this 1 comma f of x0, y0 vector field, what you are getting is, so that is a vector with slope f of x0, y0, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so you are plotting enough tangents to the possible curve. So that's the theory which explains, and you can see in examples it works out nicely like this. So what you know is, even if you don't know the curve, you know what the slope is at every point if there is a solution curve.
That means one red line corresponds to one particular blue line, sir.
No, one red line corresponds to one set of black lines, right? These red lines are the black lines are approximating a red line, a red curve. Blue curve is somewhere different. No, blue curves are separate. But how are blue curves and red curves connected? What you know for sure is if you take a blue curve and if you take any point on the blue curve and if you take a solution passing through that point, you know what the slope is. Because slope is constant along a blue curve. Suppose, so let me take this outermost blue curve. And suppose I have a solution passing through this blue curve. At this point, if the slope is 3, then at this point also the slope is 3. At this point also slope is 3 by definition. Because what you have drawn is f of xy equal to 3. 3 is an example. I just took 3. Is that clear?
Yes, that means that joining all for particular xy equal to constant. If I join all those black lines, then I will get the curve you are saying.
You will, if you join
corresponding values.
If you join the black lines, you will get a red curve.
It's according to the corresponding constant value, we need to join those black lines. According
No,
to this
there's
question.
nothing to do with the constant. See, the blue curve is along a constant. So if
Yes.
you take the number 3, then along the blue curve, f of xy equal to 3. But that has nothing to do with the red line. Red line is coming like this. So the slope is changing. Red line, the slope here and slope here are of course different. No. If
Yes,
this is
sir.
xy equal to 3, this may be xy equal to 2, this may be xy equal to 1. So the slope of the red line is continuously changing.
Sir,
Then how did you define that particular red line with them? There are many black lines, so we can join some different way also, no?
Correct. So what we can say is, so yes, that is because, see, suppose you are asking, can you join like this, right? That's what you're saying, no?
Yes, sir.
But that is only because of the picture, because picture has a lot of gaps. Suppose you draw more and more, then that problem is solved. Suppose you draw even more and more black lines, then they will be, this is what I was saying. Suppose you plot a vector field, you keep it at a distance and stare at it, you will see the shape of the curve, no? There will only be one way in which it fits. If in this picture, if you think there is one more way in which it is fitting, that is only because I did not put enough black lines. Okay. So
We are drawing tangents and joining the points. We are drawing the tangents and joining the points.
So you are drawing the tangents and joining the points. Absolutely.
Hello, sir.
sir,
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, sir. By drawing the vector field, we are only able to visualize the curve, right?
Yes.
But not the mathematical expression of that exact function.
Absolutely right. You will not get the mathematical expression. That's that can be very complicated. You will only get an approximate visualization. You will not get the closed form formula. Okay. So it's not such a big deal. This is a simple geometric explanation. If you have questions, let's discuss again. Okay. Either at the end of the class or in the discussion session. Ask me again. I will explain again. Okay.
Sir, actually, first we have to draw isoclines, then direction fields, and then the curves.
No need. Without isoclines, so you can draw the direction field. I put everything together here.
Isoclines are useful to draw direction fields, right?
Isoclines are useful in the sense that throughout the slope is the same, but without isocline also you can draw, no? Isoclines, is an extra feature which makes it a bit easier for you to visualize, but you don't need it because direction field, in order to define, I don't need to know isoclines. Okay, let's come back. If there are more questions, let's come back at the end or in the discussion session so that I can, continue. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's continue. So now let's start attacking ODEs. Okay, we are going to solve. We will have very easy methods today. We will have a little bit more difficult like that. We will have my last question in my philosophy slide yesterday was how can we systematically attack it? And that's what we are going to do. Okay. So as we remarked at the very start, there is no general method to solve an arbitrary first order ODE y prime equal to f of xy. So we consider special forms of the above ODE to find solutions. Okay. Have you seen this in +2, separable ODEs?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So therefore, I will be quick. You have seen this already. Anyway, it's easy. So notion of a separable ODE. So a first order ODE is of the form y prime equal to f of xy. Whereas this looks like y prime equal to minus mx by ny. So y prime equal to a function of x divided by a function of y. In other words, y prime equal to f of xy. If you can write f of x comma y as a function of x times a function of y, then it is separable. Okay. So this is the definition. This is same as saying f of xy is not, x and y are not mingled together. F of xy you can write as f1 of x times f2 of y. Then it is separable. Okay. So it is of this form mx. If your ODE, you can come back to this form mx plus ny times y1. y1 is dy by dx equal to 0. Then it is separable. Do you remember how to solve this? Then I can skip the slide. How do you solve this? What is the key?
Yes, sir. To separate the variable and then integrate them.
Integrate. So the key word is integrate. What will you get if you integrate this? You will get integral of mx dx. You're integrating with respect to dx, right? So you will get integral. So integral of the left hand side equal to integral of the right hand side. Agree? Integral of right hand side is 0. Integral of the left hand side is integral of mx dx plus integral of ny y1 dx. Agree?
Yes.
Integral of mx dx you can compute. If mx is a nice function, you can compute it. You know how to integrate.
Yes.
And integral of ny y1 dx. So ny dy by dx. So what is that? That is ny dy.
dy.
And that also you can do, because now y is just another variable as far as this integration is concerned. So integral ny dy is same as integral nx dx. So you can do that. So you have solved it, right? So you have solved it. So given such a separable equation, we can integrate both sides and you will get integral mx dx plus integral ny dy by dx equal to integral of 0 need not be 0. It's a constant. Okay. So I must tell you one thing, that if this was a real class where we are meeting face to face, my style is to, there's some disturbance again today. Anyway, it will be there. So I think I'm lagging behind. I may not finish what I want to do today, but what I was saying was, many of these things remind us of, there are many mad jokes. Okay. And many of these things, there are nice jokes. And I used to remind students of various jokes at these points. But now that it is online and it's getting recorded, I'm also a bit, there's a little bit of inhibition in me in order to crack those jokes. We will see. Anyway, right now I'm not comfortable. Okay. So the point is integral of 0 is a constant, not 0. So you get a constant and you get this. y1 dx is nothing but dy. And therefore you get this. This means you have solved it, provided you know how to integrate. So theoretically you can integrate. If mx and ny are nice continuous functions, then of course you can integrate. Okay. So if the above integrals exist, then by evaluating them, we obtain a general solution. So one important thing to note here is that you may get a solution of the form, let us say x square plus y square equal to a constant. If x square plus y square equal to 1, you can also say y equal to root of 1 minus x square, right? Do you remember the words for this? The solution in the form x square plus y square equal to 1 has a name, and the same solution if you write as y equal to root of 1 minus x square, that has another name.
Yes,
sir. The English words?
Implicit and explicit.
Implicit and explicit. So what you have to note is, this method is going to give you an implicit solution which you may or may not be able to make explicit. That's okay. Okay. So the solution may be implicit. If x square plus y square equal to 1, you can make it explicit, but maybe, it is implicit in such a way that you may not be able to make it explicit easily. That's okay. So let's do a simple example. Let me go very fast because there's nothing much here. If you have understood the theory, you can easily do it. Okay, solve it and tell me the answer. Answer is there in the slides, but why should I do it? So dy by dx is minus 2xy.
Y is equal to c into e to the power minus x.
Correct. So dy by y equal to minus 2x dx. So log y equal to minus x square. So y equal to e power minus x square. There will be a constant also. So log mod y equal to minus x square plus a constant, and therefore you get y equal to c times e power minus x square, right? So this is the standard way in which you do. And suppose, of course, you can plot this curve. I haven't plotted. Okay. Suppose there is an initial condition also given, y at x naught is y naught. Then you can evaluate this constant, right? Agree? If there's the boundary value given, then you can evaluate this constant. How do you evaluate? Because what is given is y at x naught is y naught. So you will get y naught equal to c times e power minus x naught square. And therefore you can evaluate what c is, and c is a constant regardless of x and y. Therefore you have evaluated the constant. So you will get c equal to y naught times e power x naught square. and therefore this is the answer. Okay, clear, no? Separable equations.
Yes.
Let's do one more. So, these kind of
Sir,
examples, I might go a bit fast because what is the point of my reading it line by line? Finally, you have to do it, right? So the answers are there. You can check the slides later, but you take a pen and paper and do it as soon as the class is over. Or if you can do it now, you can do it now. Yeah, there was a question.
sir, earlier it was mentioned that the solution should be y equal to some f of x. So if it is not in that form, is it still a solution?
Solution can be in implicit form. So you may get x square plus y square equal to 1. You take derivative 2 out and you will get a differential equation. Not everything. So they may be an explicit, see, under some theoretical conditions, explicit solution may be there, but it may not be able to, you may not be able to write it down. Okay. So a solution can be in implicit form. That doesn't mean you are not solving. You are still solving. You haven't fully made it explicit. That's all. That's okay.
But it will be considered as a solution.
Yeah, it will be considered as a solution.
Okay.
Okay.
Sir, in earlier slides, in the first slide, you wrote that we will get some y equal to phi of x on solving. So is that also correct?
Correct. That is the real correct answer. But if you are getting it implicit and if you are not able to make it explicit, that is also okay.
Okay.
Suppose we ask you to make it explicit, then you should try to make it explicit.
Okay,
So
sir.
if we are asking you to make it explicit, that means we know that it can be made explicit. And therefore, we will check whether
Yes,
you
sir.
are able to make it explicit. But implicit solution
Yes,
is also a solution. Okay.
sure, sir. Thank you.
So in this is easily separable, no? So you will get 1 plus 2y square by y dy equal to cos x dx. So assume y not equal to 0. So you will get 1 plus 2y square by y dy equal to cos x dx. You can integrate. And is it okay if I just go fast on this? Because the method is clear, right? It is about integrating only. We need not spend time on integration here, no? You agree?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes.
So because anyway, you will be faster than me in integrating, and anyway, I have integrated and I have the answer here. So what extra am I going to do by explicitly integrating? I think it's pointless. Okay. So integrate and you get log, in this case, anyway, it's easy. 1 by y is log y and 2y is y square. No. This is correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
of course, integral 2y is y square.
Yes, sir.
That is sin x plus c, sin x plus a constant, and therefore, and it is given to you that y of 0 is 1, and therefore you can evaluate the constant c to be 1 by plugging it in, and therefore you got a particular solution. What is IVP?
Intermediate value.
Initial value problem. Okay, initial value problem. Or sometimes one might say boundary value. Okay, so initial value is given, and so you get log y plus y square is sin x plus 1. And observe that if you put, see, by inspection, constant function 0 is also a solution of this equation, right? Just this much. If you put y identically 0, that satisfies this, no?
Yes.
Yeah, but that is not
Yes,
a
sir.
solution to the initial value problem because it doesn't satisfy this. Okay, so that's a note. Just the differential equation constant function 0 is also a solution, but it is not a solution to the IVP because IVP should also satisfy y of 0 equal to 1. So, you might have done this. There is what is called escape velocity, right? The velocity with which something should be thrown to the air so that it escapes the, what is the correct definition? It escapes the gravitational field of, what? Gravitational field? No.
Gravitational field of the
It escapes what?
Gravitational field.
Influence of the body.
Okay, so you must have at some point done the calculation. You compute the escape velocity. No, it is approximately 11 11, what is it?
2.2 kilometer per second.
2 kilometer per second.
Kilometer per
Second.
So it's a lot. And how have you computed it? Or you took it as granted?
Computed.
We computed it.
Computed using differential equations?
No, sir.
using potential
No.
method.
We have
Using
a
physics.
Equating the total value to zero.
You can compute it using differential equations, and a nice separable ODE is what you will get. So let's quickly do it. So this is a setup. A projectile of mass m moves in a direction perpendicular to the surface of the earth, and v0 is the initial velocity with which you are throwing it, and we want to calculate the height the projectile reaches, right? So you are going to right, anything that you throw away, it will reach some height and then it will start falling back. So if you can compute the height, then using that you can compute the escape velocity. So that's what we are going to do. You are going to calculate the height, and then suppose you know how to compute the height. How do you compute the escape velocity? Escape velocity will be
H tends to infinity.
By h tends to
by
infinity.
extending h to infinity. Absolutely. Okay, so it's weight at height x. So suppose you consider height x, then from physics you know that the weight at height x from the surface of the earth is given by, can you tell me?
G.
Yeah, g times
G into
mg.
mg into r square by r plus x whole square.
correct. So mg into r square by r plus x square, where what is r?
Radius of
Radius of
the
Earth.
Radius of the
Yeah, and a negative sign is there for some particular normalization. Okay. Retarding, yes. So r is the radius of the earth, and we are going to, we are going to get an approximate value. So neglect all these things. There is no air resistance. There are no other bodies influencing, so that this is the equation to consider. So the equation of motion is m times dv by dt. V is the velocity. M times dv by dt is minus of this, and v at 0 is given to you. V0 is the initial velocity. Okay. So this is what you have, and from this, so right now you have v and x, but you are going to write v in terms of x. So dv by dt is dv by dx times dx by dt, and that is same as v times dv by dx. Agree? Because dx by dt is v. So you can plug that in here. dv by dt. So if you plug that in here, right, here you have t and here you have x. So it did not look like a proper differential equation, but by doing that, you will get a differential equation. You will get v dv by dx is minus gr square by r plus x square. Now this is a nice differential equation. And is this separable?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
clearly
Yes, sir.
separable.
Yes,
What is
sir.
the order of this differential equation? Suppose we were in yesterday's class, then I should ask you what is the order?
So one.
of order 1.
One order one.
Linear or non-linear?
Non-linear.
Non-linear.
It is non-linear because there is product of two variables, v and dv by dx. So this ODE is separable. Linear or non-linear is irrelevant for us. I'm just asking in order to check whether you have understood it. So separating the variables and integrating, you will get v square by 2 equal to, you have to integrate this, and let's assume this is correct. You will get this plus a constant, and x equal to 0, you have the initial velocity is v0. So plug that in, you can evaluate the constant. Therefore, you got v equal to this. Now, how do you know the height of the projectile, the maximum height it reaches? Can you compute using this?
Yes, sir.
How?
Equating the total velocity
Equal to 0.
V equal to 0, because at the maximum height, there is no further velocity. It starts coming down. So V is 0. So if you plug in V equal to 0, you get the height the projectile reaches. So V equal to 0. So when you put in here V equal to 0, in the last line, when you put V equal to 0, you get V0 square minus 2gr plus 2gr square by r plus h equal to 0. H is the maximum height. Okay. And from this, you get V0 square is this. And as one of you told me, in order to get the escape velocity, you have to take the limit as h goes to
Infinity.
So take h goes to infinity. This part is 1. So v naught v escape velocity square is 2gr, and you know g and you know r, and therefore you can compute root of 2gr, and that is approximately 11 kilometers per second. So this must have been one of your derivations. Okay. And why do I take it now? I am not interested in escape velocity. I am not interested in gravitation. I take it here because it's a natural example of a separable ordinary differential equation. I'm not interested in the sense, lightly speaking, okay, in lighter vein. So it's an example of a separable equation. Now let me introduce the second word of today's class, homogeneous. The notion of a homogeneous differential equation. So a function, no differential equation in the slide. Suppose you have a function of many variables. It is called homogeneous, and homogeneous always comes with one more word, homogeneous of degree D. Okay. So homogeneous of degree D meaning if you change x1, etc., xn, if you multiply each component with a real number t, that t comes out with a power d. Then it is called homogeneous of degree D. Is the definition clear?
Yes, sir.
You just change the variables, multiply everything. So dilate it, scale it with a real variable t. Suppose a power of t comes out, an integral power, an integer power of t comes out, then it is called homogeneous of that degree d for some d in z. Z is integers. And this should happen for all t not equal to 0. Okay. All t not equal to 0. Let's see whether you have understood. Number d is called the degree of this function. Example, what is the degree here? It is homogeneous. Is it homogeneous? And
Yes.
it is homogeneous of degree 2 because if you change x to tx and y to ty, t square comes out. So this is degree 2. Is this homogeneous?
Yes, sir.
What is the degree?
1.
So this is also homogeneous. It's of degree 1. And now the first order ODE m of x comma y plus n of x comma y dy by dx. See, this is not separable. In separable, this was mx and this was ny. Now this may have x and y, this may have x and y, and this is called homogeneous if m and n are homogeneous of the same degree. Mxy is a homogeneous function of some degree d if nxy is also homogeneous of the same degree d. Both may be homogeneous, and if they are of different degrees, then I don't call this homogeneous. The differential equation is called homogeneous if both these things, if it can be put into this form, and both these m and n are functions which are homogeneous of the same degree. If the first one is of degree 2, second one is also of degree 2, okay, then it's called homogeneous. And suppose you have a homogeneous differential equation and it's of degree d, then you can do following substitution.
This is mine.
I think you should mute.
Oh, I didn't know.
Should I mute all? How do I mute all? I think it's better that you mute yourself. I thought I could also mute all, but now I don't see that thing here. Anyway, you have muted. Fine. So make the substitution y by x equal to v. Okay. So if you make the substitution, what will you get? If y by x equal to v, then dy by dx equal to, so y equal to xv. So dy by dx is x times dv by dx plus v times dx by dx, which is 1. So you get this and you substitute this in the ODE. So you will get m of x comma xv, y equal to xv, m of x comma xv plus n of x comma xv times dy by dx is x dv by dx plus v. So you have just substituted. Now what can you do?
We can eliminate x, cancel x from m and n.
Yes. So you can cancel because from here x power d comes out and you get m of 1 comma v. Here also x power d comes out and you get n of 1 comma v, and x power d can be cancelled. So you get this, and if you cancel x power d now, you get m of 1v plus n of 1v times x of dv by dx plus v equal to 0. I have rewritten it here. Assume x not equal to 0. And you have got this. Now this is separable. You agree that this is separable?
Yes, sir.
This is separable because this is nothing but dx by x plus you divide throughout by n1. Yeah. So take this to this side and divide by m1v plus n1vv. So you get mx dx plus nv dv equal to 0. So this has become separable. And separable, you know how to solve. Separable, you know how to solve. So here also there is a joke, but okay, let's do the following. Yeah, maybe because this is going on YouTube and all that, I am not very comfortable in cracking the jokes in public. So you ask for the jokes once the recording is over. Okay, so joke number 1 was 0 and constant. Joke number 2 is because we have already done this, we have got this. If you want, if you don't care about jokes, don't ask. Okay. So you get this, and this is a separable equation. Some remarks very quickly. I think we are running out of time. I have just 5 minutes remaining. So later, we are going to talk about homogeneous differential equations, and they're homogeneous meaning something else. This is a bit unfortunate. In this course, homogeneous stands for 2 different things, but from the context, it will be clear. So in linear algebra, you had systems of equations, right? And you also had this word homogeneous systems of equations. What did that mean, homogeneous? You may have a system of equation, x plus y equal to 1, 2x minus y equal to 3. Is that homogeneous?
Should end at 0.
It should be 0.
Yeah, right hand side is 0. If x plus y equal to 0, 2x minus y equal to 0, that is homogeneous. So homogeneous later we are going to use in that sense, something equal to 0, where d is a differential operator. So a differential operator times y equal to 0, we will call homogeneous. Non-homogeneous will be dy equal to bx, where bx is non-zero. In that sense, we are going to use it later. It should not confuse. Okay, this is in the 106 sense. And d being an integer was not really important in our method. If you observe our method, x power d coming out and cancelling, you did not really want d to be an integer. D could have been a rational number. D could have been something else. Method will go through. So what is important is y equal to vx should do the job. If you put y equal to vx, you should be able to get a separable form. That's all that you need. So for example, you can take this example. If you change x to t and y to t, x to tx and y to ty, what will come out? T power 3 by 2 will come out here. Here also t power 3 by 2 will come out. So here also you can cancel x power 3 by 2 and go ahead. You can solve. So d being an integer is not important for the method. But still the definition of a homogeneous function of degree, it is standard to take d to be an integer, though in our method, it is not important. Okay, so I have one remark here, not very important. Okay, this is the final slide maybe. It's an example. Is this separable as it is written?
No,
sir.
No, sir. But homogeneous.
But it is homogeneous because it is homogeneous of degree what?
2.
Degree 2. So do that thing, put y equal to vx. So you have put dy by dx as this. By the way, it's always better to do y equal to vx and derive the whole thing. It's not an easy thing to remember m of 1v plus n of 1v, etc. You don't have to remember the formula. Just do it from scratch. Put y equal to vx. The moment you notice it's homogeneous, put y equal to vx, write down dy by dx, substitute. Okay, this is a better method than remembering the theory. So what do you get? You get this. So I'm skipping the computation. You will get this. And for x not equal to 0, you can cancel x square. You got this. And this you can rewrite. This you can rewrite. And you got this. Now this is separable. This is separable. This can be made to be separable. So you have got the separable ODE. And this you can, what do you have to do now? Integrate the first part with respect to v, the second with respect to x. So if you do that, you get log x. Here you will get log x. And here, you have to integrate whatever method you integrate, maybe partial fraction or something, whatever it is, you integrate and you will get something. Okay, you've got a constant. And I'm skipping this. I hope that's okay. You should do it yourself. And you got an answer. And that is this. So you have got an implicit solution. What is this? What is this curve?
general.
Circle.
What is the center and what is the radius?
0, comma C.
So you have
Radius is
implicit
C.
radius is C, center is 0, comma C. So you have solved it. Now, just go back and draw the direction field. I'm not drawing isoclines. I'm just drawing the direction field. How do you draw the direction field? You remember? This is the given equation. How do you draw the direction field? It should be
1, comma minus 2xy by
y square minus x square. In other words, 2xy by x square minus y square. 1, comma 2xy by x square minus y square. And you can draw that, right? So here is a drawing. If you draw that thing, enough number of points, you get this. Do you see the circle here?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
This is the circle, right? The center should be 0, comma C. So if you take, this circle, if you take such a circle, the center is somewhere here. And center is there and radius is also exactly that. So for various C, you can see the circles here and 0, comma minus C with radius C here. So this is what, you don't need to draw isoclines or anything. You can just draw the direction field and you can visualize the solution. In this case, we solved it. We know the exact thing, but otherwise you can visualize like this. What will be the isoclines? I haven't drawn it here, but tell me what are the isoclines? What is
like
the
parabola.
Yeah, somebody told me. Somebody told it. What is it?
It's like parabola shape, like shape.
Louder.
Isoclines are the x-axis and the y-axis.
Hyperbola.
So the answer is 2xy by x square minus y square is a constant, right? That's isocline by definition for various constants. So x square minus, this is same as saying x square minus y square is a constant times xy. In other words, x square minus y square
Hyperbola.
plus a constant times xy is 0. Now you can check conic sections. This
Or
is
ellipse.
Is it a set of lines?
This is a pair of lines. X square minus y square plus constant times xy equal to 0 is a pair of lines. You can verify it. It's a degenerate situation, but degeneracy is not so much that it is a point. Degeneracy is exactly so that it is a pair of lines. Check that. It's basic school geometry. So check that the isoclines are a pair of lines. Okay, this is my last slide. So I can stop sharing the screen. And now you should be seeing my video. And it is time. I think your next class might have started already. So sorry about it. I will stop the recording also now. Stop.